Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be talking about nasal tubes. So whether that be NG tube, NJ tube, things like that. So this is just going to be my experience with my NG tube. I had an NG tube back in October because my GI tract pretty much decided to stop working or stop working very well. It wasn't moving things through like it should, so they placed an NG tube to try to they call it a GI reset, or at least that's what my doctor calls it. So that's the reason why I had an NG tube that time. But I'm gonna kind of talk about placement and how it was for me. So there are different size NG tubes, same with NJ tubes. However, when I went down there to be admitted to the hospital through the ER, I was underneath the impression that I was just getting a standard NG tube, so just your normal, like what you would see normally with people that are on feeds. So it's a pretty small tube. No, that is not what I got. The only tube I guess they had in the ER that day was a drainage tube that literally took up the majority of my nostril. It was a big, thick tube. So they tell you to tilt your head down to help get the tube past your nasal cavity, and then they give you a cup of water with a straw and tell you to swallow to help get it past your gag reflex. So I do that, and the guy cannot get this tube past my nasal cavity because this tube does not bend very much at all. Like, it is a thick tube and it does not bend. So he could not get it to go down and get past my nasal cavity. Therefore, he struggled to get it in. So he was on my on my right side, trying to put it down my right nostril. And he had to keep on taking it back out, trying to bend it, like with his hands, tried to bend the tube to get the tube to go down, and he did that over and over and over again and could not get the tube in. So finally he's like, all right, we're going to try your left nostril. So he does that, moves over onto this side of me, my left side, and tries to put the tube down that way, and he can't get to go down that nostril either. So he has to pull that tube out multiple more times to try to get it to go down my left nostril, trying to bend it every single time he takes the tube back out of my nose. And yes, you can feel it when he's doing that. It's not the most comfortable thing. It doesn't necessarily hurt, but your eyes are most likely going to water. Mine definitely did, but then again, he was struggling to get it in. So that could also contribute to why my eyes were watering so bad. It was not because I was crying, because it was because he was trying to get it past my nose. So when he was on my right side, my right eye would water, and when he moved to my left side, my left eye would water. So he kept on trying to get it to go in. He couldn't. Finally, he got it down. Then when it hit the back of my throat, I gagged. I didn't gag a ton because I was trying to swallow and focus on that, but I did gag, and you most likely will, and that's okay, but it's going down the back of your throat, so when the tubing's sitting in the back, like not past the back of your throat yet, you will gag. Once they get it past that and the tube is down, you will still feel the tube in the back of your throat, but you won't be gagging like you were during placement. So once the tube was in, they tape it, and then they send you to go get x-rays to confirm that the tube's in place. Well, I didn't necessarily know I was going to the hospital that day. I knew it was a very high possibility that I was going to be within the next few days, but I didn't know I was going to the ER that day, so I had done my makeup, and they did not take my makeup off to try to tape this tube to my face. So in the ER, when they were taping it, I don't know what the name of this tape was. It was just like a white tape, and it was supposed to be a good tape, but it did not work for me. And they basically taped my entire cheek with this white tape that did not want to stick to my skin. And then, because the tube comes out your, like, runs out your nose and it comes down. So then they taped more of the tube to the side of my neck. So now there's a giant piece of white tape on my neck, multiple pieces, because they didn't do just one strip because it wasn't sticking. So there was a lot of white tape on my face. And when I got up to the floor that I was admitted on, the nurses come in to clarify everything, and they're looking at the tape job, and they're like, who taped your NG tube? That is not how we tape tubes. And they're watching my NG tube come back out of my nose. So they're watching this tube come out. So my mom's like, I'm pretty sure her tube is coming back out of her nose. And then the nurse looks, and they're both watching this tube essentially just come back out my nose. And she goes, yep, okay. I'm just gonna hold the tube in place. That way it doesn't come out further. Because she could not replace the tube. So we got somebody in that could re-put the tube back in place, and retape it. So then they come in and they're sitting there taking off all this white tape off my neck, off my cheek, and they're like, there's tape like everywhere on my face, on my neck, and they were like, yeah, no, that's definitely not how we tape tubes. So once the second nurse puts the tube back down and the tube is in place again, they tape it. Well, they think it's in place. We have to do an x-ray to confirm that after, but you have to tape it first. So they tape the tube to my face, but this time they remove the makeup that's on my cheek. So they take off the makeup that's on my cheek, they put down like a skin prep, which basically just helps the tape stick, and then they add another piece of tape, which is like a flesh colored piece of tape. It's to help protect your skin from the tubing and the tape that goes on top of it. And then they put your tube across that piece of tape, and then they put Tegaderm on top of that to hold your NG tube in place. And then, since this tube wouldn't come back out, they wrapped the tube close to where my nostril is. They wrapped that piece with more tape, and then just had the tape come up and over my nose to help make sure that the tube did not come out. So that's my experience with my first NG tube, and that placement. So yeah, if you want more frequent updates, go follow my Instagram, which is underneath the same exact name of my YouTube channel. So go follow my Instagram, cause with my fatigue, sometimes I don't get around to doing these videos, but I do update a lot more over on my Instagram. Thank you for watching.